Now, what if your email list could basically manage itself? No more manually adding or removing contacts. No more campaigns going out to the wrong people. That is literally what an account engagement dynamic list does. And most of my clients realize that they're not even using them right. So in this video, I'm going to break down the exact setup step by step so you can build a list that does the heavy lifting for you in the background. But let's be honest here, none of the things I'm going to share with you will even matter if your account engagement emails are ending up in spam. And matter of fact, the more work you do will just burn you more time and more leads because they're not hearing from you. So you want to save yourself from all of that by booking yourself a free DLT consultation call with me using the link below so I can tell you what your score is and how you can get it to the highest so your emails are increasing sales, not spam. All right, let's get into it. Today, we're building out dynamic lists inside account engagement from scratch. The reason I love dynamic lists, and so should you, is simple. They maintain themselves. Once you set the rules, account engagement keep the lists running for you automatically. So you're not constantly going in to add or remove contacts. If you build these things right and make them reusable, you'll save yourself a serious amount of time whenever you run any campaign moving forward. So first you want to click on the prospect tab inside your account engagement. On the left hand side, you'll see a menu. Find segmentation and click on it. Now bear in mind, by the time you watch this video, the UI may slightly change, and I apologize for that, but I'm very sure that you'll be able to find it through since most of the time, most things stay the same. Now, the very first option that appears is Segmentation List. You want to click on that and you will land on a table showing all your existing lists. If you want to see more than just 5 at a time, you want to scroll to the bottom right of the table and change that to show 25 or 50 lists. One thing worth knowing, which is you can get to this exact segmentation list screen from a lot of places in the system. You'll find shortcuts to it inside automations and inside account engagement email too. And that's not a coincidence. These lists are literally the foundation of every email you send in account engagement. Whether it's a one-off blast or a multi-step engagement program you'll be running over weeks or months. Now here's my advice to you, which is think of your segmentation list as the engine underneath every campaign. A poorly defined list means your message hits the wrong people. Get this right once and it pays off across every campaign you run. Now when we take a look at the table, there's a column labeled dynamic, and each row shows either yes or no. This is your quick visual indicator on which lists are dynamic, which ones are static. When you're ready, you want to click on the Add List button in the upper right hand corner. And bear in mind, the more dynamic lists you build correctly instead of static lists, the less time your team spends on list hygiene, and the lower the risk of you sending to the wrong or churn contacts. Now, you get to name this list. Now, before you type in anything, let me give you a framework for the dynamic list you want to build first. There are 3 core lists I recommend to almost everyone starting out. One should be for your current customers. The second should be for your prospect, meaning people who haven't bought yet. And the third should be your former customers, people who have churned. Those 3 form your foundation of your list. From there, you can layer into more specific. If you've got multiple product lines, you might want a list of people who are customers of one product but not another, because that is an obvious upsell segment you can market to. But don't go ahead of yourself. Start with the 3 main groups, get those rights, then build out the more granular segments. And matter of fact, that former customer list is still gold if you run re-engagement campaigns, which most businesses ignore churn contacts entirely. But these are the people who already knew you. They already had a reason to buy once, but maybe something went wrong, yet they're still easier to win back than people who have no idea about you and have never heard about you. Now in the name field, you want to type in your list name. In this example, we're going with customers. Next, you can assign it to a folder. Click the choose button next to the folder field and either pick an existing one or create a new folder by typing in name and saving it. This folder structure is how you keep your account engagement from turning into a spaghetti code 6 months from now. So you want to organize by campaign, by marketing initiative, or just broadly like one folder for your audience list, another for your competitor list, and so on. You can also add a tag here for an extra layer of organization if you want. Now remember to set up consistent folder naming convention early. Something as simple as audience parentheses customers or audience parentheses prospects will save your team hours of hunting around when your asset library grows. Now here's the key step, which is you want to scroll down and you want to find the checkbox that says dynamic lists. You want to check it and watch what happens to the button in the lower right corner of the screen. It changes from create list to set rules. That's the whole difference. A static list just gets created. A dynamic list needs rules because the rules are what defines who gets added and who gets removed automatically over time. Click set rules to continue. A quick pause. If you're already feeling a bit lost with the logic of how these rules work, don't stress about it. You can always book a call with me using the link in the description below for free so I can show you exactly how everything works and help you out as well. Now back with the list building. Now as you know yourself, if you got a conflict on the name, just rename it. So in this case, I'm going with current customers and then click set rules again. Now that you're inside the rule builder, you've got two options here. You can add individual rules or you can add rule groups. We'll start with rules and get to groups in a minute. Let's click on add a new rule. A dropdown will appear with all the rule types available. The way to think about this is simple. Rules are based on either data, what you know about the prospect, or activity, what they've actually done, whether it's forms filled out, emails clicked, pages visited, etc. In the dropdown, you'll see options like prospect default field. That covers things like name, email, phone number, fields right on the prospect record itself. But since we're targeting customers and customers in Salesforce live on the account object, choose prospect account field from the dropdown. This will expand into a second dropdown showing all the account fields that have been mapped into account engagement. If a field you expect to see isn't there, it hasn't been mapped yet. You need to set that up in the admin setting. A quick tip, before we go deep on building dynamic list rules, do a quick audit of your field mapping between Salesforce and account engagement. The more accurately your Salesforce fields are mapped, the more powerful and precise your dynamic list can be. Now from the field list, select type. In Salesforce, the type field on the account usually has values like customer direct, customer channel, prospect, and so on. Set the condition to is and choose customer direct. But we've also got customer channel accounts and we want those too. Click add new rule again, go back to prospect account field, select type again and set those conditions to is and this time choose customer channel. Now look carefully at what's sitting between those two rules. There's a small word that says and that is your logic operator. Right now, it is a problem. And here's why and is a problem. We're pulling from a pick list, which means a record can only be one value at a time. No account is going to be both customer direct and customer channel simultaneously. So with the and logic, 0 records will ever match this list. So you want to go to the rules section where you see the match all and match any radio buttons, and you want to switch it from match all to match any. Watch that little and between your rules flip to or. Now you're looking for accounts that are customer direct or customer channel, and you will now get both types in your list. Now from here, you can stack up rules to narrow things even further. Maybe you only want customers based in California or customers who have purchased a specific product type. The flexibility is endless here. Now here's the thing I see a lot of businesses falling into the trap, which is they build all kinds of lists, but then once they send emails, they realize the open rate and the click-through rate is very low. And that's a high indication that they have a low deliverability score that won't fix by itself. So if you haven't booked yourself a free deliverability consultation call with me using the link in the description below, you want to do it now so I can show you how you can get your score up so that all these list building becomes worth your time. But if you want to first check whether you have a low deliverability score, this is how you can do it. You want to head to emailmob.com and go to free tools and run a free email deliverability test. And to do that, you want to copy these email addresses and go to your email and paste these email addresses. And in the subject, you just want to write test. In the body, you can also write test and hit send. Now you want to go back to emailmob.com and click on check email deliverability. Now, after it loads, if your score comes back with 85% or above, then you're all set. The DNS records that you've now set up is more than enough and you shouldn't worry about anything. But if it's below that, that means your reputation is too low for the DNS records to be enough and to save you from spam. Now let's talk about rule groups. Let's click on add rule group. You see, rule groups work with the same field options as individual rules. but they let you control logic inside the group independently from the logic outside of it. The easiest way to think about it is imagine parentheses in a math equation. Now, I'm hoping that this won't make it more scary for you, but hear me out. You see, whatever logic you set inside the group stays scoped to that group. And then between groups, you've got outer logic, usually OR. So in this case, you can get very precise. You can say rule A and rule B, or rule C and rule D. That is the kind of layered logic which individual rules alone can't do that. So inside the rule group, you want to click on Add New Rule and look through the options. One interesting one to know about is Prospect Opportunity Status. This lets you target contacts based on the relationship to an opportunity in Salesforce, including whether that opportunity was won or lost. That means technically you could build a customer list using opportunity data rather than account type field, because account engagement can seize opportunities as long as the contact is tied to the opportunity via opportunity contact roles on that record. That said, I generally recommend using the account type field over opportunity status. Why? Because the opportunity contact role relationship isn't always maintained well in Salesforce. If someone's sloppy about adding contacts to opportunities, your list will miss those people. But the account type field is cleaner and more reliable as long as you keep it updated. For now, we're going to go ahead and delete that rule group by clicking the remove option next to it. Now here's a sleeker approach. Instead of keeping two separate rules for customer direct and customer channel, you can actually collapse them into a single rule. On your first rule, change the condition from is to contains and type the word customer in the value field. Since both customer direct and customer channel contain the word customer, that one rule will match both values. Cleaner, simpler, and more importantly, easier to maintain. Now, one important caveat though. Before you use this trick, make sure you don't have a value in your pickle list like former customer. If you do, that will pull in your churn contacts, which is exactly what you don't want in your active customer list. So make sure you check your values first. And once you've confirmed that it's safe, then you want to go ahead and delete the second rule. So we'll leave just the one type contains customer rule and click on run rules. Now, as a quick tip, simpler rules are always easier to audit later, so that when someone new joins your team and looks at your account engagement setup 6 months from now, one clean rule is infinitely easier to understand than a stack of 5 rules that all do kind of the same thing. Now, after you hit run rules, the list will show 0 members, and that is completely normal. Don't panic. What's happening in the background is account engagement is scanning every record in your database against those rules. And depending on how many records you've got, that can take anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes. Now, when it's done, account engagement will automatically send you an email notification confirming the list has been updated. So you can then come back to segmentation lists, find your dynamic list, see how many records match your rules. Now, while the list processes, here's the most important piece of guidance I can leave you with on dynamic lists, which is keep them as simple as possible. Account engagement gives you a ton of flexibility. You can stack rules, layer rule groups, create incredibly complex logic that makes you feel good. But simplicity always wins in the long run. So if you can accomplish the goal with one rule, use one rule. The more conditions you add, the harder it becomes to troubleshoot when something goes off. And something, as you know, always will go off eventually. So to wrap it up, remember that with dynamic lists, we at least want to have 3 lists: our prospects, our current customers, and our former customers. Those 3 will power most of the campaigns that you'll want to run. And if you enjoyed the video, then you want to hit the like button and subscribe so I can make more videos for you so that you can make the best of Salesforce for your business to maximize its growth.